Okay, so now it's time for a showcase of all the innovations. And the first one is coming up by Jupiter Meta. We have Mansa. Mansa, please join us. So each of these organizations are now going to showcase their innovations. Again, a very interesting session. So, yeah, please.
The metaverse has a perception problem. Have a look. Hi, I'm Manasa Rajan from Jupiter Meta. We are a Web3 and Metaverse advisory. It was assumed that the success of Metaverse and its adoption is going to be that we will live in this virtual world. People will don animated avatars and live a really idyllic life in perfect harmony, like where we can be outside of our reality and outside of the woes and problems of our real world, traffic, for instance, and that would be our eternal existence and success of the metaverse. But the truth is that the reality is even better than this utopian vision that we were sold of the metaverse. Virtual worlds are really a way to bridge the gap between present state, how our present world is, and to move to a space, a future world which is equal, which is sustainable, which is just, and which is an optimistic place. Especially through things, how we work, how we learn, how we perceive the world, how we think about the environment, how we participate in societies. Those are the things that we can impact through the metaverse, through virtual experiences. So let me explain with an example. All of us, we all believe that the corporate world should be just, it should be fair, it should be bias-free and diverse, right? But the reality is, and where power struggles or power is not abused, where people take decisions based out of skill, talent, and understanding, right? But the reality is that there is a lot of bias that exists, even in people who are forward thinkers, people who are liberals. There is an inherent bias. We judge even before pleasantries are exchanged. We judge basis appearance and our deep-seated conditioning and so on and so forth. So how can we then change this? Policy changes, education, sensitization training, representation, all these things have a role, but so does the metaverse. So as Jupiter Meta, we wanted to really address this specific issue on creating a more equal world, on creating a space that was devoid of identity. We created an incognito meta space, identity-free and bias agnostic. The idea was to really bring all of this conversation and make it judgment-free in a safe space, whether it's a conversation that you have with your boss, a conversation with an HR manager, a conversation around reporting abuse, a conversation that is around a sensitive matter, and all of these things can be had in a safe space where your identity is intact and not disclosed. It's also a bias-free space because a lot of our biases are inherent to certain visual elements, to certain, how we perceive human interactions usually. But the interesting thing is, this safe space is a place where you can have judgment-free conversations. Just think about in which scenarios can we improve life through an incognito room. Therapy for trauma victims, sexual wellness consultations, These are some of the niche areas we're working with. It can really impact the experience of the user in a simplistic way through a simple solution that we've created. I want to talk about another example that we are working on. When we talk to our children, when we lead by example, work and play are two very, very separate scenarios. It is distinctly different. When children plan their day, a lot of the activities are around work, and that requires labor that one has to suffer through because there is a promise of success. And then there is playtime, which is intuitive, fun. It does not need any motivation. Children do it naturally, and it is like a reward at the end of the day. But games they're enjoyable intuitively. And gaming is far more engaging, enjoyable compared to something like learning about the history of the world or chemistry. So can we bring this immersive, intuitive, enjoyable, natural, fun, rewarding experience into learning? And that's really the key idea that we're focusing on. Learning and development to be experiential, intuitive, enjoyable, and rewarding. And the metaverse can do that, right? Just the skill development aspect, the learning aspect can be immersive, but also fun. It is not driven as a chore, but it is engaging, and it can be a part of our life with ease. So we understand the concept of active learning and what this space can do, the potential of gamification in adding value to a learning experience, right? Whether it's designing curriculum for children and enhancing it through augmented reality or virtual reality experiences, whether it is building training modules for companies to develop a certain skill set for their employees, whether it is for a standard safety training that can, some of the other speakers initially spoke in the morning spoke about how can you create risk training and really safety training without giving those experiences. Immersiveness can solve for that. A lot of content developed in an immersive environment through the right elements of gamification can really make it a reward-based system, but also where your learning goals are top of mind. The idea is not for us to build virtual experiences and worlds out of thin air. The idea for us, what we focus on really, is to create experiences that are solutions to problems. We help businesses identify problems and then create specific targeted solutions with measurable goals to achieve that. And that's really the crux of the extended reality and metaverse adoption for us. It's a transformative new world, and everybody's welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.